So, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm James Estep.
This interview is for an exercise in a course I am taking this semester. For the purposes of this exercise, do you consent to being interviewed and recorded?
I do consent to be recorded and interviewed.
To learn about your experience of the natural world. During a typical week, how often do you get to experience nature?
Every day. I mean, experiencing nature is something I take very seriously, and when at all possible in my schedule, I am sure to fit in plenty of time for extracurricular activities.
Did you just move to the city?
I did actually recently move to the city, and I think it's still so new to me that I don't have too much of experience with it yet. I mean, this is probably one of the bigger cities I've lived in. So.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about nature? How is the experience different from not being in the natural world? Like, how do you feel about being in the city versus in the natural world?
Okay. Well, I feel like it's just a little bit more commercialized and just doesn't have that feeling of what I'm used to.
What's that feeling? How can you describe that?
That feeling feels like home. Like a good breakfast in the mornings, waking up, just a good feeling, overall, generally.
Can you tell me about a time you realized that you were immersed in nature?
Immersed in nature. Yeah, hearing you say that, I visualized canoeing and kayaking down like various like rivers and bodies of water. So that's the time I felt fully immersed. I mean, if you're in a water channel, that's far from any of the city or civilization at times.
Do you feel like you connect with nature?
Um, yes, and no. I feel like I used to feel quite connected, but I think it also like I feel some parts that I'm not so connected with, like diseases and like poisons and things like that. I feel like that's kind of that's something I don't really want to connect with too much.
Part of nature, what would you be?
If I was a part of nature
Or the natural world?
or the natural world, I really like cats, so I think I might be like a cat in the jungle.
What do you think is the opposite of nature? Can you tell me a time you were immersed in that?
Immersed in the opposite of nature. I think one way to look at it would be being immersed in cities, and I say this because to me cities could represent death, and in a way I would say that death would be the opposite of nature, because nature is to be alive, and possibly the city's lifestyle leads to like a quicker death and maybe less immersed out in nature, true nature.
What do you think is the best way to preserve nature?
The best way to preserve nature. Step one, check this out. It's as easy and as simple as possibly maybe like just picking up after yourself cigarette butts and trash that just is left around when literally trash cans are within steps. That's one simple way. There could be there's a handful that I could think about right now.
Can you give about 2 or 3 more?
Yeah, sure. Cutscene.